Yo, what is up guys? It is Samool back in with another Epic 7 video for you guys today. And I know it's been a long while since I've uploaded. I am coming to the end of my exams though, so I will be back to more frequent uploads and also even play the game more because I haven't really touched Epic 7 in quite a bit. But today we have a special video for you guys today. We're going to be talking about the new hero that is releasing, and her name is Yulha. You'll notice right away she is an Earth Knight and her artwork looks amazing. I actually thought that she was actually coming from a collab or, you know, like an extra unit from ReZero, because her artwork looks really good. She looks like something straight out of an animation, not really anything you'll see out of Epic 7's old artwork. And you're gonna see even from like her expressions, she looks like some kind of like anime character in my opinion. But yeah, this is the lore. We're not going to talk about this too much. You know, the artwork looks really great. But let's talk about her stats and where she shines and what I think she'll be good in. So yeah, looking into her stats real quick. So she is an Earth Knight. She's a Sagittarius. So you guys can prepare your catalysts. And if you look at her stats right away, you're going to notice that her base health and defense is very high. Her attack is also decent for a knight. You're also going to notice that her speed is very low. You're also going to notice from her imprints, right? She's going to get health for herself and attack for her team. So very strong. She looks like a very bulky unit that is going to pack a punch with her skills. And let's get into her skills and actually see what she does. So this is going to be her S2, guys. Malicious Smile. You're going to notice when you're attacked by a single target attack, I assume is what it means, you're going to reflect 30% of the damage suffered to yourself. So you have built-in reflect. But keep in mind the reflected damage cannot be higher than your own HP. So you can't actually, you know, what's it called? One-shot enemy units with your S2 unless they actually have less health than you. Also, when you're going to be attacked, when your health is 30% or less, I think this works for AoE. Might be wrong. You're going to dispel all debuffs from yourself and activate Murderous Intent. And Murderous Intent will be a barrier to yourself for 3 turns. This barrier is very big because it will scale with your HP, which is going to be the stat you're going to be stacking on Yulha most of the time. You're also going to CR push yourself by 25%. Keep in mind this extra effect can only activate every 5 turns. It's a very long cooldown, but it looks very strong, right? Because you have a full cleanse on it when you get low enough, and you CR push yourself, and you get a huge barrier. And you're going to see why it's very strong for her kit when you actually look at her S3. So let's look at her S2 animation real quick in case you guys are wondering. This is just Hwayoung going into her. Pretty decent into Hwayoung because even though you're Earth versus Fire, the damage reflect cannot be dodged. So you're going to see that this does pretty decent damage to herself. It broke... okay, maybe not pretty decent, but it did some damage. It did break the barrier, I guess. But maybe it's the builds in the video, but you never know. It does have some use against Hwayoung, I guess, debate. She did live the attack, right? Because she took less damage. So yeah. Next, we have Yulha's S3. So this is why her S2's extra effect is very good. You saw that when Hwayoung went into her, she was pretty much below 30% HP. She did some damage to Hwayoung, and then she CR pushed herself. If we look again in the video, so right, you're going to see that she did CR push herself, and she did get that turn off. And you're going to see that Hwayoung is about pretty much more or less full HP, including the barrier. Then you can activate your S3. This is very good because her S3 is going to be a single target attack that will penetrate defense, and if you kill the enemy, you'll recover your HP. Keep in mind this works basically like Krau's S3, so you can't crit with it, and the damage you deal will increase proportional to your lost HP, and the amount you recover is also proportional to your max HP. So it is like Krau, but instead of a barrier, you get a heal, and the barrier you actually get from the S2, so very nice. And you can soul burn this for an extra turn even if you need that extra single target from your S1 to actually kill that Hwayoung. So she looks like a very good bait for Hwayoung, especially in Guild Wars. If you run her against Hwayoung defenses, you can bait Hwayoung into your Yulha, and then you can actually one-shot with your S3 right after. So yeah, for Guild Wars, I think you can bring Yulha very easily into Hwayoung team comps, and then she'll be very good. You can pretty much one-shot them, right? Because you're going to see in this video, or at least like the skill, with the animation looks sick. It literally looks like something from, what's it called? Demon Slayer. She did not go into the Hwayoung, but she did do 18k damage into her Rimuru. So even if Hwayoung dodges, it'll do a decent amount of damage, and she'll be very close to dying. Next, we have Yulha's S1, nothing too crazy. Single target attack with a chance to inflict redirected provoke. Very similar to Krau, but it is redirected instead of just provoke. And you're also going to see this damage scales with your max HP. And the difference with Krau's S1 is Krau's caps at 75%. And this one will go up to 100% if you actually Mulgore it. And if you look at the damage this actually deals, for a knight, this does a lot of damage. This is like double Krau's damage, right? Albeit this did crit, and we don't know what stats they're running, but this definitely does more damage than Krau. So yeah, this is her own artifact. It is going to be at the start of battle. You get a barrier to yourself, and when attacking with a single target attack, you are going to be, if you are granted a barrier, you'll do extra damage. So this is very good on her because her S2 will give you that barrier. If you have her S3 up with this artifact, it'll do even more damage. Now it's hard to say if this is worth it over Aureus because you do want to take more damage overall to make your S3 hit harder. But if you are using her as a Hwayoung bait, I think this artifact is very strong on her because, yeah, like I said, you're going to be dropping below 30% anyways from Hwayoung's S3 most likely, and that means that you can just S3 right after, and you don't really have to worry about that Aureus effect, right? Yeah, this artifact, I don't know if it's worth buying for powder, guys. I think, you know, all that this is good. You might want to try to pull for it on her banner if you get lucky. If you don't get lucky and you do want to use Yulha as a Hwayoung counter, this seems pretty decent. You can always just use Aureus instead, though, if you're looking for a cheaper option. So yeah, Yulha, do I think she's worth it? I think Yulha is a pretty cool unit. Her design is very good. I think her design gets an A+ in my opinion. Her usability, I think in PvE she won't really be used at all, but in Guild Wars she looks very strong, like I said, as a Hwayoung bait. I think they did make her as a Hwayoung bait because even though they did release Taeyu, Hwayoung is still super broken, and I think that's primarily why they made her super bulky and an Earth unit, because in Guild Wars, where Hwayoung is a huge problem because you can't ban her, you can just bring her into Hwayoung, bait the Hwayoung S3 into you, and then clean her up with that S3, and even soul burn it if you need that extra damage. So I think Hwayoung will take a big hit from Yulha, but who knows. People did think Hwayoung was going to take a huge hit from Taeyu, and then look where she is, you know. Hwayoung is still very strong. So maybe Yulha won't have the effect that everyone else thought that she would have on keeping Hwayoung out of the meta, but hopefully she does, because I'm getting kind of sick of Hwayoung just being on every single defense team. It's not that fun. And to be honest, guys, like, even if Yulha ends up being a bust, keep in mind her design looks pretty crazy, right? Like, you can't deny that her animations look crazy, and even her animation in the freaking lobby looks crazy. So I'm definitely going to pull for her. I think she looks a very fun unit. She's very comparable to Crow, except, you know, you're going to use her to bait fire units, namely Hwayoung, and she does seem to have more damage overall. But I do think Crow's utility for his team is a lot better with his defense buff, because Yulha only has that cleanse for herself. She's a very selfish unit, whereas Crow, you know, can always provoke enemy units to take the damage for his team, and also run Aureus more easily, and also have that defense buff for your team as well. So that being said, this is pretty much it for my preview of Yulha, guys. Do I think she's worth pulling for? If you like her design, definitely pull for her. If you're looking for an answer to Hwayoung in Guild Wars, then yeah, I recommend pulling for her. PvE for newer players, she's not really that good at all. But I definitely would wait a few weeks, or not a few weeks, a few days to see people testing her and see if she's good, and then decide whether to pull for her or not, because she is a new unit, so she will be here for 2 weeks to stay on the banner, so you don't have to rush or anything and worry about pulling her. That being said, guys, hope you guys have a great week, and I'll see you guys with more videos in the future soon, because my exams are ending. Peace.